Here are my top 5 tips for hosting friends over at your house where they won't even notice that there is no meat or cheese, I promise. Tip number 1, to save you time, energy, and money, host a potluck. When it comes to a potluck, you just need to be in charge of making the starch. Basically what's gonna keep everyone full, like the rice, the pasta, the beans, right? That's what you're in charge of, so make sure that those are delicious. And that leads me to tip number 2, make grain bowls your friend. If you haven't heard of grain bowls, they're also known as Buddha bowls, or even Hawaiian haystacks are a form of grain bowls. Just make the grain with a bunch of different beans and different toppings, and you'll see how delicious it can be. I want to show you what I did the other night when I made a grain bowl and hosted my friends right here. In one Instant Pot, I have 5 cups of brown rice with 7 cups of water. So we'll start that. I just use the multi-grain setting. In the next Instant Pot, I'm putting some water in there with just a bag of red beans. The water that they will be cooking in, I will take out. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of salt. Again, I always like to use light salt, and I'll add the flavor after they're cooked. These smaller red beans go on high pressure for about 30 minutes. Setting the oven to 450. I just chopped up some sweet potatoes with my awesome chopper. And then for seasoning, I'm going to use this salt-free seasoning from Dollar Tree. It works awesome. And then I'll actually add some salt too. Put this in the oven. I chopped up a head of cauliflower. I'm gonna do the same thing, just some no salt seasoning, then some salt. The beans are ready, and because I did not soak them, I do not want to use the water that they were cooked in, or else it's gonna cause more gas and bloating than we want. So I have to rinse it all out, and then I will flavor the beans. Okay, to the beans, I'm adding 3 cups of Better Than Bouillon veggie paste with 3 cups water. I'll mix that around. And then 1 tablespoon of cumin and 1 tablespoon of oregano. Then you usually taste it just to make sure that there's enough flavor. Mix all that up. And then I like to add the juice of 1 lemon, or even a lime. We'll also add some garlic powder. These beans are done. Let's make the other set of beans. All right, I'm taking 3 cans of chickpeas. We'll add these to our bowl. I chopped up some red onions, just about a 1/4 cup. You want them chopped really finely. Let's make the dressing. We'll add about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. If I make it for myself, I don't use olive oil, but if I make it for people, I do. All right, then we'll add in about a teaspoon of oregano, and then about a teaspoon of salt. So again, you can taste this and then change it based off of that. So we'll mix this together, and then we'll mix that with the chickpeas in here. Spread it all around. Now here's where the flavor comes in. I'm going to add, instead of Parmesan cheese, right? We don't use cheese, we're gonna use some nutritional yeast to bring in kind of that Parmesan cheesy flavor. Then the juice of 1 lemon on top of everything else. Super fresh, super yummy, super quick to put together, especially if you use canned beans. Mix that up, and then you have some nice flavored chickpeas. Taste it, feel free to add more oregano. I'm gonna add more oregano just so you can see it more. So people are already here, so I'm hiding in my pantry. I need to chop up a bunch of the veggies. The beans are ready to go, the rice is ready to go, so I'm just gonna pull out everything from the oven, and then we'll eat what everyone else brought too. I love grain bowls because I make the rice and the beans, and everyone else can bring whatever they want. So if they want to bring chicken, they can bring chicken. If they want to bring any particular salad or veggies, it's a great meal to feed a crowd. Now let's go to tip number 3. Host a fiesta night. Yes, the Mexican food is the best for when you're whole food, plant-based, or vegan, because you can do burritos, tacos, tostadas, pinto beans, black beans. There's so many options. It's so delicious. Let me show you how we do it. I have the dried pinto beans, some dried black beans. I'm gonna add water and salt and then start these up. Since I did not soak these beans overnight, I'm going to cook them in the water and then rinse them afterwards to prevent gas and bloating. 33 minutes, we'll start here. 33 minutes, we'll start there. Time for my nap, and then we'll get to cleaning that up later. All right, they're done. Perfect. Awesome. I use 2 of these bags for these black beans. Now that the beans are cooked, I'm gonna separately cook the veggie broth and then add that to the beans. I have 4 cups of veggie broth. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of cumin and 1 tablespoon of oregano. And I'll add a pinch of cayenne pepper, just a little bit. I don't want it too spicy for everyone. And just for fun, we'll add some rosemary and thyme. All right, let's take this veggie broth and put it into the beans. Yum. People aren't coming for another hour, so this is gonna sit so that all the flavor can get soaked up. So now that it's cooled down, we're gonna place the lime in there. My cute daughter is helping me. A little bit of mussels. But the secret to good beans is lime, 2 full limes. And then we'll add salt to taste. I forgot to add garlic powder, so I'm gonna do that now. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So since I'm doubling the recipe, it's 2 teaspoons, so here's 1. Now, if you've forgotten everything I just taught you, don't worry, go ahead and click on the link below where I have a blog post outlining all of the juicy details that you need for your next party. For the pinto beans, I just mixed in about a teaspoon of garlic powder, and that's 3 cups of veggie broth. Then I'll add another teaspoon of onion powder, and we'll add the veggie broth to the pinto beans. Now we smash these with my potato smasher. I might actually use an immersion blender, it might be easier. And then you want to add the juice of 1 to 2 limes, it's up to you. And then we'll add some salt to taste. This will thicken as it cools. To save time and to keep the sweet potatoes more moist, I actually cook them in the microwave for 15 minutes. Then I chop them up, and now I'm placing them in the oven at 450 for another 15 minutes. These cute ladies came over early. We're gonna call it early, right on time. So we're just finishing, we're gonna make the guac. Natalie's over there cutting up the mangoes. We did 10 avocados here, and then we're adding 1 tomato, about 1/4 cup of red onion, and then 1/2 cup of cilantro. We'll just lightly kind of mash this all together so it's a little chunky, and then we'll add some salt and the juice of the lime. You want lots of flavors in there, and I only have 1 lime left, so we'll add 1 lemon and 1 lime. And we'll mix this, taste it. I'll probably add a little more salt just depending on how it tastes. Don't want to over mix it because I like it a little chunky. A little more salt, a little bit more. Almost there. All right.
It's light salt, it's okay.
It's light salt, I know. As long as you don't have kidney issues, you can use this.
How many avocados?
10 avocados.
Are you guys ready to eat?
Yeah. Hey guys, what do you think? So good?
Empty plate.
Everything was so good. How many helpings did you have, Emerson?
4.
Tip number 4 is have a not so average potato bar. Yes, there's so many things that you can add to potatoes. All you have to do is cook all the potatoes and ask people to bring some sides. It could be chili, it could be some beans, it could be guacamole, hummus, so many delicious things that you can add to potatoes. Plus, potatoes are so cheap and so filling. Everyone will be so full, they won't even notice that there was no meat and cheese. Yes, I promise you can host a potato night without sour cream and ranch dressing. Sounds crazy, I know, but it's doable and people will love it. And tip number 5, make soups or pasta, or both. We love hosting pasta nights. It's so easy. Everyone can bring their favorite sides like salads or bread, and you've covered a lot of the meal. Plus, it's really cheap. Here are my go-to pasta recipes. Luckily, my go-to pasta lasagna soup is super simple and easy, and I can do it in the Instant Pot, so we're gonna put that together right now. 1 onion, chop it up. All right, we'll turn on the saute function. Then we'll add 2 onions chopped. You want about 8 cloves of minced garlic. I am doubling this recipe, so it's a lot more than usual. 4 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, then 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Again, I'm doubling all of this. So this is 1 teaspoon. The recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon. I want to show a really cool trick about tomato paste. So you open actually not only one end, but the other end. And because I'm doubling this recipe, I'm going to use this entire thing of tomato paste. And look, you just push it through. You don't have to scoop it out. It makes it super, super easy. And I'm adding a little under 2 cups of red lentils. I just added 10 cups of veggie broth to this. And now I'm adding about 2 cups of marinara sauce. And then 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. And just to make it easy, I'm gonna throw in this whole can of light coconut milk. Now you'd wanna break up about a whole carton of lasagna noodles, but I ran out, so I'm just going to add in a full box of whole grain rotini noodles instead of the lasagna noodles, and then we will cook this. Since I'm cooking this in the Instant Pot, it's just 5 minutes on high pressure. If you were going to cook this over the stove, it would be about 15 minutes. Next, I'm making white pasta. We'll start by boiling some spaghetti noodles. For the white sauce, we will add 1 package of firm tofu and then 2 cloves of garlic. Gonna eyeball that. We'll add 2 tablespoons of raw cashews, a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of veggie bouillon paste, 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary, 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, and 1/2 teaspoon of marjoram. Then you'll do a full teaspoon of salt. I use light salt, which is great unless you have kidney disease. Otherwise, this is great to keep your blood pressure low. We'll add a cup of water from the hot pasta before I rinse the pasta out, and we'll blend. so yummy. Pasta's done, we'll rinse it. We'll add the sauce. All right, and then we'll add greens to the soup now that that's just done. All right, we have the white pasta, the lasagna soup, got some bread, green beans, broccoli, and quinoa. Dinner time. What do you guys think? Yeah, you like the bread. Okay, Rose, what do you think?
Yummy.
Delicioso. So next time you want to host your non-vegan friends, no stress, click on that link below where I have a blog post outlining all the details you need to know. And definitely check out this video where I show you some other delicious soup recipes so you have those just in case.